Cream puffs, profiteroles, choux à la crème, whatever you want to call it, are basic choux pastries that are traditionally filled with homemade whipped cream. They're one of my favorite things to make, 1, because they're delicious, 2, because they are incredibly versatile. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways these can be prepared, 2 with cream and 1 with Nutella. Let's do it. For the choux pastry, we'll start by adding a half cup water, a half cup whole milk, 8 tablespoons of butter, 2 teaspoons sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon salt to a pot over low-medium heat. Bring it to a boil, then turn off the burner. Mix in 1 cup of flour until combined. Keep pressing and folding until you no longer see any of the white from the flour. Turn the heat back on and continue to cook for a couple minutes just to ensure that most of the moisture is evaporated or cooked off. Transfer the dough to a separate bowl to cool. I like to just spread it out just to make sure all that heat is dispersed. Next, we're going to add in 4 eggs, but we want to make sure it's not too hot. Touch it with your finger. If it's too hot for your finger, it's probably too hot for eggs. This recipe is very doable with a spatula, but it's a lot easier if you have a hand or stand mixer. Beating the eggs until you have a smooth consistency, and once you do have a nice smooth dough, we'll add it all to a piping bag. I'm not going to use a metal piping tip for this, I'm just going to cut off the end of the bag about a 1/2 inch wide. If you don't have piping bags, no big deal. You can always use a Ziploc and just cut off the edge. Here is my beautiful bag of dough. I'm just using a standard sheet pan. A little trick I learned to keep the parchment from moving as you're piping is to place 4 small dots of dough in each corner. We'll lay down our parchment. Pipe little circles of dough that are about 2 inches wide and about 1 inch high. Make sure to give them enough space to expand. Preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for 10 minutes. Then reduce the heat to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for an additional 20. I always forget how much better homemade whipped cream is. It is literally the easiest thing in the world to make. I'm going to add 2 cups of heavy cream, 4 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. This can be done by hand, but your arm might get a little sore. Beat with a hand mixer until it starts to thicken, but be careful not to overbeat it, because if you continue to beat it, then you're just going to have butter, and nobody wants that. Unless you want butter, then great. A good rule of thumb is if you can lift up the whisk and nothing falls off, it's probably ready. Stick it in the fridge until you are ready to fill. Once the pastries are ready, give them ample time to cool on a wire rack. So I'm going to make some with Nutella and then the others with just good old whipped cream. To fill the pastries, I'm going to use this injector tip, which comes in handy when making eclairs, donuts, or anything that just needs to be filled. I'll fill my bags and get ready to pipe. I like to poke little holes in the bottom, but with this pointy tip, it's really not necessary, but whatever. Fill up each pastry until you feel it pushing back a little bit. Then wipe off any excess and move on to the next. So I made the first few with a cream filling. This next one I'll do sandwich style. Carefully slice in half and proceed to fill. Add the top back on and you have a little cream sandwich. Next, we'll use our Nutella. Once again, fill up the piping bag and fill the same way as before. I like to keep things simple for the most part, so I'll just dust these with a little bit of confectioner sugar, and that's all there is to it. They're great for any occasion. They store nicely in the fridge if you want to enjoy them the next day or maybe the day after. As always, ingredients and description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.